Hi there, and welcome to the Mindful Marathon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Quirk, a run coach and pediatrician. Mindful Marathon is all about helping runners of all types to run their own race. Whether you are a seasoned runner or you're just getting started, I want to let you know that you're welcome here and that you're in the right place. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. And today I have with me a very special guest. I have Kayla Heimerman here. She is a certified personal trainer and group exercise instructor. She has a diverse background, including cardio kickboxing, barbell and kettlebell strength training, suspension training, yoga. You're making me tired. Senior exercise and water exercise. And she is also an avid runner. She is a 9-time half marathoner, 8-time full marathoner, and an ultra marathoner. And she is a volunteer coach with the Girls on the Run. So Kayla, thank you so much for being here.
So excited.
It's great to have you. And yes, reading that intro I was like, wow, okay.
And it's so funny. Like I even thought, I was like, do I need to tell her all of this? But it really just like spoke to me for a second of like, wow, my background is actually really diverse and kind of cool. And I have these, this very like Swiss Army knife type skill set, and it's cool. It's neat. It's not pompous at all. It's just very much like, whoa, I do know a lot of stuff.
You do, and you are helping a lot of people. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's the best part of the job.
Well, maybe to start with, tell us how you got started. I was going to ask you how you got started in running, but maybe how you got interested in personal training, or you take it where you want to go.
Yeah, well, I will. I'll answer both of those questions because one did come before the other.
Mhm.
So I got started in running first, and that
Okay.
probably led me to my career in fitness. So
Okay.
I grew up a not very athletic person. I played, middle school and elementary school softball in the spring and summer, and I did, middle school basketball and volleyball. And I went to a small Catholic school, so we all played. It was very no pressure. We were never great. And went to high school and was just very much an academic person. I actually managed the cross country and track teams. I was their statistician. And so I was around running and always was massively inspired by the athletes on our team. They were very good friends. And I got to see people of all sizes and abilities competing at these cross country races as a person who was like, I can never do that. I would never do that. And it wasn't really until college. I'm on my own. I'm walking everywhere on campus. I started at UW-Madison, so huge Big Ten campus. That I actually even started to think about like exercising for fun or for like personal wellness. Transferred schools, I realized, wow, college students have access to the gym on campus for free. I was a commuter student, so I would go in for my classes, and in between my classes, the days I was on campus, I would go and work out, and I would read on the elliptical, textbooks, and just I started there. And it wasn't really until it was like 2007, 6-ish, 7. I was working at a newspaper. That was my job out of college. I was a reporter, and started considering maybe running a little bit. And in part, it was to have something to talk about and something to relate to this person who had started in the newsroom at the same time as I had, who I thought was charming and ended up marrying a few years later. So I did start running because of my future husband. He was talking about running on the country roads and, just how, so I was like, well, I can do this. So it was really, I accidentally started as a couch to 5K runner. Run a little bit on the treadmill, and then I would walk, and then I would run a little bit, and then I would walk. And before I knew it, it was like, there was a mile, there was 2 miles. then I tried to take it outside and it was a massive failure because I was like, trying to go full bore right away, like everybody does.
Yes.
Don't know how to control your pace. So I would, try to run a block and it'd be like, doesn't work. So I probably, struggled a lot those first several years, but I trained for a 5K in 2008, and that was when I ran my first one. And funny enough, we got engaged at the finish line of a 5K.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, December 2009. We ran like a jingle bell run and for arthritis or something like that. And there was a very nice prize at the end. And the rest is a little bit history, really. I built up, over the years up to a half and then a full, and various types of training plans and training styles and running buddies and all kinds of stuff along the way. But I got into personal training. Really, I got into like group fitness after I had my daughters. So my daughters were born in 2013. We joined a gym probably in early 2015. So they were like 18 months old, wanting to get back into the ability to run. So we joined our local YMCA. We were on a scholarship because, we had one income, and they had Kids Zone. They had a place for the kids to, get childcare while we were exercising. And so we did that. And I started back to the treadmill, but then it was like, well, I need something to do in the afternoon. So I would take them to the child watch program at 4:00 when they opened, and I would take Zumba, and I would take kickboxing, and I would take something every day of the week to, kind of get back into this groove of, exercising again on the regular. And it was not long after I was a regular in all of those classes, to the point where I stood in the front row. I had the routines memorized. The woman who taught at the time was like, you're always here. You're never late. You know everything. Would you ever want to fill in for me when I have to go somewhere? And I was like, you really think I could do that? And she was like, well, absolutely. Like, just think about it. So in order to be the person who fills in even once or twice, you had to fill out a job application. So I filled out a job application at my local YMCA just to fill in once or twice a month. And as I'm talking to the health and wellness director, she's like, well, what else are you good at? What else do you like? And so I was like, well, you know that I like to run, and you know that I would love to help out with, this program or that program. I like weightlifting. I like Zumba, but, I'm not a Zumba teacher. I was like, but I like yoga. And she's like, would you ever we've been wanting to bring a yoga class to RY forever. And this company that we work with, that offers like choreographed classes for organizations to offer weightlifting, kickboxing, step, all the things. They make a yoga program. Would you be willing to look that over and tell me if you like it? I said, sure. So I took home this DVD or 2 DVDs, and it was, I don't even remember what they called it, but it was a very athletic HIIT intensive yoga. So it was maybe a warm up of, some dynamic stretching and yoga poses. And then it would flip into maybe some leg heavy HIIT and yoga poses. And then it would be a core. And then there was cool down. And it was awesome. It was like everything I liked about yoga, but also this athletic style of training that I had grown to love, of running and weightlifting and kickboxing and all that stuff. So I was just like, I was kind of enamored, and I was like, this is really, really cool. I've never seen anything like this. All the yoga classes I've taken over the years are very traditional and quiet and slow, which is great. And she's like, well, do you think you want to teach that? And I was like, okay. I need to practice it and see if I can even memorize this. Like, I haven't memorized choreography. Like, I was in plays, I can memorize lines, but like I've never memorized choreography. You know what I mean? I was like, this was such a unique thing. It's like, let me sit on it for a little while. And, of course, before you do it 3, 4, 5 times, and you memorize it. It just becomes ingrained. It's like something with the muscle memory.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll teach this. So I ended up teaching a cardio yoga class 3 days a week. And fast forward, we needed to move. Christopher got a job promotion, and I needed a career that could come with me. And I couldn't do the reporter thing anymore, where my bachelor's degree, I couldn't use that because you can't have those hours as a parent. Like it just doesn't work. And he was already in that industry and in that field and working those crazy hours. So there was no way two of us could do it. So I was like, I need a career that's going to come with me wherever I go. Could I do personal training? Like that's just a certificate that's mine. It lives with me, not at a building.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talked to some mentors and they were like, well, yeah, absolutely. Here's what I did. Here's what you could do. And so I just started doing some, investigation, and it turned out the local YMCA where we were moving to was hosting a personal training, like certification workshop review. So I could take the course, read the textbook on my own time, go there, and it was literally like a month after we moved, go to this live in-person review and take the test and potentially have a job.
Yeah.
So like it was just, I don't know if it was serendipity or what it was, but I ended up getting hired on to start in group fitness and personal training at my local YMCA, and that was 5 years ago.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like so fast. And like, of course, in those 5 years that I've been here and the 2 years of teaching classes beforehand, I've just amassed all these different skills and things.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great.
Awesome.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that part of your story.
Yeah. It's a neat part of my story. It's funny to me that I started out, as a very as a newspaper person, somebody who's actually like using my bachelor's degree to something completely on the other side of the coin.
Yeah. Yeah. But doing a lot of good and staying healthy yourself too. So
Yep. Yeah. And honestly, that's the great part of working at a YMCA is you have all these core values and this mission that are really important. It's all about respect and healthy living and, attainable goals and, meeting people where they are. And it's like, yes, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, just to switch gears a little bit back to your running, what is your favorite, if you have one, favorite running accomplishment? I don't know if it's a race or a distance. I don't know.
The ultra marathon last fall, it was in October, was really such an incredible and unique experience, and I never could have imagined it going as well as it went. And it was probably by far the slowest I've ever run across a distance. If you look at my average pace, maybe it rivals my first marathon, I don't know. But like to have a 7-hour run race feel like it was totally attainable and no big deal, and I could actually like walk the next morning was just like, holy crap, this is so cool. Like something clicked. And it was, of course, as you know, Michelle, it was a nighttime race. So I ran for 7 hours largely in the dark, having to figure out eating and how to locate all the stuff on my body and, just switching my audio and just all these things that you don't have to deal with training for something like that was a unique experience, being surrounded by nature in the dark, which was sometimes creepy, but mostly cool. It's just like, what a unique experience. I can't think back more fondly on that.
Okay. Wow.
I have one other one.
Yeah.
I don't remember which marathon it was, which number, but it's where I set my marathon PR. It was in Milwaukee. And just because of how incredible that feeling was, thinking, I don't know if I can break 4 hours and 30 minutes. I had come very close, but that was the goal, and breaking it by like 31 seconds and just feeling like I was literally flying down that finish chute. That was cool. That was cool. And I love that medal and I love the shirt, and everything about it just brings me good juju when I think about it. So.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And it's hard to do. So
hard to do. I don't know if I can do it again.
I know it's hard to do. You can if you want to, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Now tell us, okay, so really I wanted to ask you, a sort of a hot button issue for us runners is that we don't love to strength train historically. Can you talk a little bit about maybe our barriers to that and how we can fit it in a little bit better?
Sure. So I'll start it on a personal anecdote. So when I trained for my first marathon in 2012, I think I followed a Hal Higdon plan, right? Nothing wrong with Hal Higdon.
Mhm.
But he doesn't necessarily, for beginners, strongly advocate strength training. It'll have maybe 4 or 5 days of running, and then the other days are cross training and one dedicated day of rest. Okay. So all of your 7 days are accounted for, and most of them are spent running. So I thought this is what I was supposed to do. And I slogged through that plan very, very faithfully, crossed off as many of those runs as I could, but it wasn't very fast. I was really, really sore, had a mental and physical breakdown 2 miles before the finish line, not able to continue, feeling like I was not going to be able to continue. And as I've looked back, I think it was because I hadn't really trained my muscles appropriately, strengthened them, had the core strength and stability to support me for that distance and time. But I also missed doing other stuff. Like I loved weightlifting. I loved yoga. I liked Zumba. I liked doing all those things. And when you have a plan that calls for 5, potentially more days of running, there is a room for that other stuff. So I really regrouped the following, really the following years. And it was like, okay, I'm dialing down the running and I'm going to incorporate more stuff that I love. So for me, it transformed my running when I added strength training. So for me, it was non-negotiable going forward. I had to strength train a couple of days a week, and I had to do some stretching at least once a week to feel like a healthy runner. And I saw my times drop, which is at the time, that's what I wanted to do. So for me, there was the direct correlation. But I think what a lot of the barriers are from runners that I encounter, from things I read, is that they don't think they have time, right? They don't think they have time because so many of these plans that people are following, maybe they aren't working with a coach, they are just finding something in a magazine or on the internet. They're run heavy.
Yeah.
Don't stress the importance of strength training. So we don't think we have time. We stick in our comfort zone, number 2. We know how to run. We know how to do that. That's easy for us. That comes naturally. So we're going to do that. Strength training for a lot of people is just very intimidating. And I haven't really figured out why. We all start somewhere. We all know really how to do a lot of the basics. If you think about the body mechanics and the body movements, we know how to squat because it's sitting down and getting up again. We know how to do that. We know how to push things. We know how to pull things. We know how to do this stuff, but like you put dumbbells in somebody's hand and they're like, what do I do now? So I don't know. I think it's just feeling like a fish out of water. But I think those are the 2 really big barriers, are not feeling comfortable and intimidated, feeling intimidated or feeling unsure of ourselves. And thus we get down on ourselves, and B, not feeling like we have time for it.
Yeah, I think that's right. My former physical therapist, he moved, but Dan, he always kept telling me runners like to run.
Absolutely. And you'll notice that probably too about people who are avid cyclists or spinners. They, in the group fitness land, we see that all the time. You have the people who are dedicated to their one thing, and that's what they come to. You give them a sub, or you tell them that their class is canceled and that they can go do something else, and they don't know what that other thing is. Like you tell a spinner that there's no spin. What am I supposed to do? Yeah, absolutely. He's spot on. And for whatever reason, we are creatures of comfort.
Yeah. Could you point us to maybe a place to start? So for example, I don't have a gym membership right now. However, you were kind enough to create some strength training workouts for me and for my athletes within our program. So I have those videos, which are really helpful. So I can do them in my living room, but maybe a place to start. Yeah. If someone doesn't belong to a gym.
Sure. So first thing, if you don't belong to a gym and you don't have any equipment, because again, let's just assume bare minimum, right? Then you're going to start with body weight exercises, right? So you're going to want to think about things like squats and hip hinges and planks and push-ups and stuff that just requires a soft place on the floor for your hands, or a sturdy floor, for your feet. If you have a dining room chair or a dining room table or a kitchen counter, well, then you can incorporate that. If you have stairs outside or inside, you can incorporate stairs. So then you can get into things like lunges, and you can get into things like step ups and stuff like that. You don't need a lot of weight to get started. And then, yeah, it would be doing either consulting with somebody who you trust. I mean, there's tons of stuff on the internet, obviously. And so it can be hard to sort through who's reliable and who's not reliable. But doing a little bit of research as to the most basic fundamental strength training moves. But the key word there, if you're starting with no gym membership, is body weight. Start there.
Yeah.
The great thing about our world today, though, is so much at-home equipment is available in most stores, and there are so many options for what might fit in your budget. Like, I don't know if you guys, do you know the store Five Below?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Five Below, strangely enough, has a pretty decent selection of like resistance bands and like medium to light kettlebells, and for all $5 or less. Okay, you don't want to invest a ton, that's a great place to start. TJ Maxx, get yourself a nice yoga mat, you know, maybe a set of hand weights, then you've upped your game already infinitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, for runners, it's the basics. The basics are best.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And if we're running, you know, I would say most of us are running probably, between 3 and 5 times a week. If we're going to start with some strength in there, you know, would you recommend starting with like once a week, maybe just to introduce it? And then
absolutely. I would totally start with what seems attainable, because
okay.
the goal that you set for yourself and the goal that you achieve is the one that's reasonable, right? So once a week, 10 minutes. Doesn't have to be any more than that. Okay. Yeah. Even if you want to set yourself a goal for, I'm going to do squats, push-ups, and hold a plank once a week, and I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. Like, that's your goal. You start crossing that off for a couple of weeks. It's going to feel pretty good, and you're going to want to add more.
Yeah.
You know, if you are running maybe more heavily, like on the 5, maybe 6 days a week thing, then you're going to maybe pick a day that's not such a long run day to add on that few minutes of strength. Or maybe you're going to pick a speed work day. Maybe you're going to do your strength training after you're done with your speed work, because you're going to have left it all out there cardio wise, and you might have a little bit left to give. Or maybe it's on your easy run days, because you know you're not going to be putting forth 100% effort. And so when you get home, you'll have a little bit left in the tank, and you can devote some time to some strength training.
Yeah.
Also break it up a couple, you know, maybe it's 5 minutes on this day and 5 minutes on this day. You know, it does not need to be big. You just have to start.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's the same advice for people getting started to run. So
yes, absolutely right. Yeah. Just run a little bit, you know, and do it one day. Yeah. Maybe in 2 weeks, you do it 2 days, and then. So
yeah, like you're not going to go and try to do, you know, a core workout for 30 minutes if you haven't been doing any.
No, exactly. Yep. You have to start somewhere, and we've all started at the bottom, whether it was running or cycling or anything. We've all started at the bottom. So
100%. Swimming too.
Yes.
Which Kayla's doing some swimming now too. So
yes. I would just say for runners, you know, don't underestimate how important that strength training is, and figuring out a system that works for you, because it will support your habit. You know what I mean? Like, it will support your ability to run for life. I think for so many of us, that is the goal, is we never want to outrun our joy of running, and we never want to stop being able to run. And so the benefits of strength training completely play into that. It's good for your bones. It's good for your joints. It's going to help prevent injury.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to give you the strong core. It's going to help with your appearance, of course. It gives you the similar kinds of feel good endorphins that a run does. And you're going to be able to you can strength train until you're an old person. So if you want to continue to run until you're an old person, then you got to go hand in hand. So many of the clients I see, I don't necessarily coach a lot of runners, but so many of my clients are older women I mean, we're talking about, I train women in their 70s and they want to maintain their strength, their ability to get up and down, to climb stairs, and they want their bone density to stay, strong. So they don't need to go on medication to retain that. I mean, it's like these are lifelong benefits, that go way beyond just your ability to complete a race.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just takes starting somewhere. So people who have, questions should go to a run coach. Number one, if you have a run coach, then talk to your run coach. Where should I start? How many days, what exercises should I do? They may have something, but if you're even nervous about that, or you don't have a budget for that, there are some great resources on the internet. Okay. Runner's World is a good place to start. I would trust the reputable ones. Like, I'm not going to go and follow a TikTok workout. Okay. You have to be able to evaluate your sources. An Instagram workout is a little bit better, but sketchy sometimes still. But look at the person's credentials.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they tell you that they're a certified personal trainer, and do they tell you where they got their cert from? If they're willing to tell you where they got their cert from, they're probably halfway decent at what they do. If they, already teach, other runners or whatever, like those could be great resources for people. There are blogs and YouTube, video producers whose workouts I have followed, because you know what, as a runner and a personal trainer and an instructor, I don't want to make my own workout. I need somebody else to tell me what to do once in a while. And so I have found a few that I really like, whose style jives with my style, but they just take all the thinking out of it for me. And their content is awesome, and so you can find some amazing stuff for low cost, just by making sure that you are evaluating where those people are coming from.
Yeah, we won't go follow the TikTok video, okay?
Yeah. And yeah, just looking for those keywords. So people who are starting out way at the beginning, body weight strength for runners, start there, Google that, see what comes up. And then it's like, okay, basic core for runners, let's do that. You can progress and progress. But
this is great advice.
There isn't anything. Yeah, don't do the TikTok video. But yeah, just starting with the basics, and honestly, the basics are the best for everybody.
Yeah.
Really.
All right. This is sound advice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy to help.
Now tell everyone where they can find you. Maybe you'll have some inquiries.
Oh, please. I'm happy to answer questions. So I don't have like a huge social media presence, but I am on Facebook. It's just my name. Just find me on Facebook. I don't have a page. It's just my personal. But Instagram might be the better place for people to find me. My handle is Kayla B0418, KAYLABEE 0418. It's a college nickname. And I will frequently post things about my personal runs, a lot of stuff about my family. Just whatever seems appropriate for Instagram. But I'm happy to take questions if anybody's got questions or wants some advice.
Thank you. And I'll leave your handle in the notes.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and for imparting your wisdom, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the podcast so that we can reach and encourage others to tie on their sneakers and join us out there on a run. See you next time.